In this video, we're considering the Congregation Bible Study for this week. Let's get started. We're considering Lessons 24 and 25. Lesson 24. And just to get some context, we see this lesson is about how they broke their promise. He called Moses to the up of the mountain, and he said he gave him his laws on stone tablets. But after some time, the Israelites thought that Moses had left them, and they did something bad, something wrong. They're disobeying Jehovah, that time worshipping a false god. With that in mind, the question, what does this account teach us about Jehovah? His holiness and exclusivity. Jehovah is a holy God who demands exclusive worship. He doesn't share his glory with anyone or anything, like a golden calf. The people's act of idolatry was a serious direct offense against his nature and his position as the only true God. His justice. Jehovah doesn't overlook sin. He saw what was happening and immediately made it known to Moses. His justice requires that disobedience and unfaithfulness be identified and addressed. We learn also that his mercy and willingness to forgive. Despite the serious offense, when Moses intercedes for the people, Jehovah shows mercy. He forgives those who were willing to repent and obey. This demonstrates that his mercy and his justice work together. He is a God of covenants. Jehovah had established a covenant with Israel. He fulfilled his part by giving them the laws written on stone, a formal and permanent act, Moses breaking up the tablets, though a human act of anger, graphically symbolized how the people had broken that covenant. What practical lessons can we learn from this account? The seriousness of our promises. The people made a solemn vow to obey Jehovah, but they broke it easily when pressure arose. This teaches us not to make promises lightly, especially to Jehovah, and to be faithful in keeping them. The danger of crowd influence and impatience. The Israelites were carried away by panic and impatience. They believed Moses had abandoned them. It teaches us to maintain our faith and identify firmly even when others around us give in to sin or group pressure. Don't excuse our sin. Aaron's response is a classic example of not taking responsibility. He blamed the people. You know how they are. And even gave a ridiculous explanation. Out came this cough. The lesson is that we must recognize our own sin, our own responsibility, and not look for excuses to justify it. The importance of spiritual support. Moses, despite his anger, immediately went up to plead for the people. This teaches us the value of praying for those who make mistakes so that they may repent and return to the right path or way. How this information could be applied in the family? Faithfulness. Teach children the importance of being faithful to the family and to biblical principles, even when it is difficult. Talk about the loyalty they owe one another and to Jehovah. Responsibility. When a child makes a mistake, encourage them to take responsibility instead of blaming their siblings or the circumstances. Communication with God. Teach that family worship, prayer, study is fundamental to avoid making our own golden caves, such as prioritizing hobbies, entertainment, and work above Jehovah. How this information could be applied in the congregation. Unity and common focus. The account warns about the danger of division and creating idols within the congregation, such as following a human instead of Christ and giving more importance to traditions than to biblical principles. Maintaining unity in pure worship is vital. Support the weak in faith. Some in the camp probably joined the idolatry due to pressure. This reminds us of the need to be attentive to brothers who might be weakening in their faith and to strengthen them with kindness. Imitate Moses. Elders and servants can imitate Moses' zeal for pure worship, seeking to help and restore with love those who stumble. And how this information could be applied in the preaching. Use this account to explain that Jehovah is a God of love, but also of justice, who deserves exclusive worship. Talk about faithfulness. It can be used to highlight the importance of being faithful to Jehovah once we have learned the truth and have made a commitment to Him through baptism. Warn against materialism. The golden calf is a perfect symbol of materialism and greed. In the ministry, it can be used to show how putting trust in riches or possessions is a modern form of idolatry that distances us from God. Let's see lesson 25 to get some context. A tabernacle for worship. And this is very important. After this incident, they were given specific instructions to build up a tabernacle, specific materials, and this required people with some skills, special skills and abilities. What does this account teach us about Jehovah? His desire to be with his people. Jehovah is not a distant God. By commanding the construction of the tabernacle, he showed that he wanted to reside among them. He wants a close and personal relationship with his servants. He is a God of order and holiness. The detailed design of the tabernacle, with its different sections, objects, and the specific roles of the priests, teaches us that Jehovah is a God of order. Holiness is represented in levels: the courtyard, the holy, the most holy, showing that approaching him requires reverence and correct procedure. What practical lessons can we learn from this account? He values sincere and organized worship. Jehovah doesn't accept just any kind of worship. He provided a specific means, the tabernacle, sacrifices, priesthood, for the people to approach him in a way that was pleasing to him, showing that worship must be both from the heart and in accordance with his instructions. He accepts and blesses voluntary generosity. Jehovah was pleased with the voluntary and generous contributions of the people. This shows us that he values a willing and joyful heart, not donations given out of obligation. The importance of, generosity. The people gave with such an abundant heart that Moses had to stop them. The lesson is to give joyfully, voluntarily, and generously, not out of obligation or reluctantly. Use our skills for God. Jehovah used the skills of men and women, weavers, carpenters, goldsmiths, for his service. This teaches us that all our talents and abilities can be dedicated to the worship of Jehovah. Worship must be according to God's model. Just as the tabernacle was built following the divine pattern to the letter, our worship today must be based on the instructions of the Bible and not on human ideas or inventions. How this information could be applied in the family. Dedication of resources. The family can decide together how to be generous with their time, resources, and abilities to support the true worship, for example, in the ministry, at the meetings, or helping others in the congregation. Teach order and respect. The tabernacle teaches us about order and holiness. In the family, this can be applied by establishing an order for family study, prayers, and attending meetings, creating an environment of respect for spiritual things. Value each one's talents. Encourage one another to identify and use individual talents, cooking, singing, repairing things, encouraging others, for the spiritual well-being of the family and the congregation. How this information could be applied in the congregation. Spirit of generosity. Foster an environment where everyone feels motivated to contribute voluntarily, not only economically, but with their time and cleaning tasks, maintenance, preparing parts for the meetings, or helping those in need. Unity in pure worship. The tabernacle was the unifying center of pure worship for Israel. Similarly, the congregation must be united in pure worship, avoiding divisions and maintaining biblical standards. Recognize Jesus' priesthood. This account is a perfect basis for studying how Aaron's priesthood was a shadow, prophetic shadow of the role of Jesus Christ as our heavenly high priest. He's the way, the truth, and the life. So, he gives us direct access to the Father. Not another human being, not another person of this planet, but Jesus only. How this information could be applied in the preaching. Explain God's purpose. It can be used to explain that God's desire has always been to live in peace with humanity. The tabernacle was a step toward that purpose, which will be fully fulfilled in the new world. Contrast true worship with false worship. After the golden calf lesson, the tabernacle shows the correct way God approved for worshiping. It can be used to highlight the importance of worshiping God in the way He indicates. Point to Christ. In the ministry, it can be explained how every element of the tabernacle, the sacrificial lamb, the high priest, the altar, pointed prophetically to the redemptive work of Jesus Christ, the Lamb of God. Thank you so much for joining us in this consideration of this week. We hope you have a wonderful day and hope to see you in our next video. Bye for now.